All right, so first we'll do the approval of the agenda. I was getting a little ahead of myself there. Anyone see any changes or anything that needs to be amended?
Motion to approve.
We have a second?
Second.
Second by Ashley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, and then the approval of last month's minutes. Does anyone see any changes that needs? Motion, second, someone?
Second.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, and then no scheduled items on tonight's agenda. Didn't look like we have any off agenda items unless someone walked in at the last minute with anything. If so, then we'll move to receive and file. We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, Brian, update issues reports.
All right, thank you, Trey. Appreciate coming out tonight. Thank you. Welcome. We had a quick open house earlier that you'll get a more advanced presentation about the Patrol West Station later on the agenda. At the August 22nd City Council meeting, we approved the 24 operating budget and the CIP capital improvement plan for the next 10 years. Some good projects in District 5 in the CIP plan. Some already underway, like Patrol West, Westlink Library expansion, Country Acres Dog Park, and then phase 3 of the Proc Wetlands capital plan, and then some road projects. Currently, we have 2 road projects under construction. Maze Road from Central to 21st, right, Aaron? That's started this week, and it's getting a new overlay and new striping. It'll be gorgeous and very nice when it's finished. And then this week they started on the 21st Street project here, which will make 3 lanes from 119th to 135th to allow for a dedicated left turn throughout the stretch, utilizing the shoulder, still having plenty of shoulder for bike lanes, but that's underway. Our last meeting, we talked about the YMCA PUD, and that goes to the council on Tuesday. And right now, it looks like it's going to be a compromise between what MAPC and what this DAB recommended. Limiting the hours for the evening, the setbacks, construction height, but everyone seems to be in agreement that that's going to move forward. So it was a good presentation at MAPC, good questions. We had 1 protest petition filed out of all of the properties, and that was from the housing addition on the south end. So other than that, I don't really have any other updates. Unless anyone has any questions or concerns that they've experienced or heard from their neighborhoods or anything you've seen, questions?
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to staff reports. First, our fire department report. Do you have anyone from fire tonight online?
I don't see one. I did fail to mention one fire department thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Recently, we approved budget to find land for a new fire station northwest. Studies shown that there's growth development in northwest and in southwest. And so fire department has demonstrated a need for a new substation or a new fire station southwest and one northwest. We allocated money for land. We're currently searching for about an acre and a half near 29th and Ridge Road area. So that's underway. And then southwest, it's closer like Pawnee and 119. But so a new fire station coming in this district sometime next year as well. So that's all I have for fire, unless they have anything. I don't see anybody join. So
If they come in later, we'll go ahead and add them there at the bottom, but we'll move on to police report.
go ahead.
Lucky.
Go stay here, go there.
Yeah.
All right, and I am Officer Darren Williams from Patrol West, operate beats 14 and 15 as a community policing officer. Just some of the things that we have going on out of Patrol West this month. On September 17th, we're gonna have ICT Open Streets that we're gonna be working. For the public, it's gonna be 11 to 5, where you can ride up and down Douglas, all the way from, I believe, Hillside to Elizabeth. It should be a good time for everybody all the way around. Also, on September 28th, we're gonna have our Second Chance Thursday. We're gonna assist citizens in taking care of traffic warrants and also getting driver's license back with the DMV in the city of Wichita. Some other things that we have coming up, I know that you've all heard that we've been hiring. We have some job fairs that have been going on. One's gonna be at the Farmers Art Market from 7 o'clock until 1 p.m. on this Saturday. Also again at the Kansas State Fair. We also had a search warrant that we did today in the 900 block of North Brown Thrush. Unfortunately, it was our 4th time doing a search warrant over there for MABCD. So that was a cleanup warrant for the exterior only of the residents. So hopefully the residents in that neighborhood can get a little relief on knowing that we got that cleaned up. Let's see, then we also had a traffic assignment that we monitored traffic in the 3200 block of North Pepperidge. We were getting complaints of speeding in that area. We left it for about 7 days. In that area, we had a total of 6,315 times the cars went by, which is a lot. I think it's a lot, but it's normal. Out of those, it was 27 that were speeding, and the highest speed in that time frame was 47 miles per hour by one car.
That's on North Pepperidge?
3,200.
That's in the neighborhood, that's it.
That's in the neighborhood, yes.
Oak Ridge.
Other than that, the one thing that I do ask is that everybody keeps locking their doors at night and close your garages, because we still do get break-ins. We don't want to just give it away. But does anyone have any questions?
I forgot to introduce Captain Ron Hunt. Captain Hunt is promoted to our West Patrol. Captain Cooley, who had been West Patrol, got promoted or shifted. What do you guys call it? Reallocated
There you go.
to City Hall, right?
Yeah.
And so Captain Hunt is now our commander of Patrol West. So thank you for being here. Yeah.
Anyone have any questions for us, Mr. Williams? All right, thank you very much.
Congratulations, Captain.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to Parks and Rec report.
I don't see anyone, but I pick up off what Officer Williams said. Open Streets ICT on the 17th. The pickleball courts at Buffalo Park are now open. Remember, we had 2 tennis courts there. We converted 1 tennis court into 2 pickleball courts. So they're ready. You don't have to reserve them to go home and play. So they're nice and new, and people are using them, and so that's good. We talked about computers and props, so I don't have any other. Evolve has over their art program, so.
Go ahead and move on to Tracy with our library report.
I'm Tracy Partridge. I'm the manager of the Westlake Branch Library. And the first thing that I wanted to let you know is actually the Wichita Public Library is joining the network of family place libraries. And that is an endeavor that tries to give educational opportunities for ages 6 and under. And what we do is offer new program services and just opportunities. And that program is actually starting at our advanced library on September 14th. And really it's because the first 3 years of a child's life are the most important in order for learning to occur. So we've got that, which is incredibly exciting for us. The next thing that we're doing is Wichita Public Library is having a library card design contest. So if we have any artists in the audience or on the board, this is your opportunity to have lots of people actually see your beautiful artwork And basically, it runs through Friday, October 27th at 5 p.m. There will be 3 winners. There will be a child winner, a teen winner, and an adult winner. And what will happen is these library cards will be mass produced. And then in the winter, when people start getting library cards, we will actually give them the opportunity to decide what design they want. So if you do something incredibly fabulous, lots of people around the city of Wichita and Mesa Garden could actually be carrying your signed card. So that's really exciting. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is the Wichita Public Library at the Advanced Learning Library will be hosting the Manhattan Short Film Festival. We are working with 500, it's a long name, 500 other cities around the world to view 10 outstanding short films. And we do like to let you know they're not rated, so they may not be suitable for all audiences. But that will be on Friday, September 29th and Saturday, September 30th from 10:30 to 1:30 at the Advanced Learning Library. Does anybody have any questions? No questions. This is like a fast night.
I know.
You guys.
Snap
Yeah,
over.
really.
I
Thank you so much.
don't think we do have.
Aaron, are you here to report on anything? from-
No, I'm just here for morals.
Okay.
All right, so without Parks and Rec and Fire, I guess we'll go ahead and see if there's an anyone would like to move to receive and file staff report. Do we have a second? All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, now we'll move on to new business. The first will be zoning case from Metropolitan Area Planning Department.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Christina Reed. I'm an associate planner with the Metropolitan Area Planning Department. I'm here to present on the case CUP 2023-00027. The applicant for this particular case is requesting a minor amendment to CUP DP 218. So what is a CUP? Well, if it is a commercial development that is 6 acres or more, it is obligated to be a community unit plan. And it's considered to be a minor amendment because this particular case is affecting less than 50% of that CUP. And this CUP is generally located on the east side of North 119th Street West and 225 feet north of West 21st Street North. So what they're doing is what they're proposing is to amend general provision number 18 of the community unit plan to allow warehouse self-service storage on parcel 2B. The proposed revisions to the CUP include increasing the maximum building coverage, increasing the maximum gross floor area, and a floor area ratio in order to accommodate the proposed self-storage facility. Now, if the parcel is not developed as a self-storage facility, all said provisions of the CUP will remain in effect. And per the site plan here, we scroll down to the site plan so I can talk about it a little bit. Go up. Oh, one more. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see here, there's not going to be any parking on site per the applicant's request. So what they're proposing is 33 self-storage units, and there's a 20-foot setback or a 20-foot buffer on the north and south sides, and then a 40-foot setback on the east side, and a dry detention, 40-foot setback on the west side, there's a typo there, and a dry detention on the east side. All the overhead doors to the storage facilities shall face inward on the parcel. So the reason that we are presenting this today is because a CUP amendment acts in lieu of a conditional use because the notification and public hearing processes are the same. So if it wasn't within a CUP, it would still require us to notify the public. It would just be in the form of a conditional use. And the reason for this is because it abuts residential zoning to the north. The requested CUP amendment is in conformance with the community investments plan. If we take a look at the 2035 Wichita Future Growth Concept Map, this map identifies the area to be appropriate for new employment. And we define new employment in our comprehensive or community investments plan as areas that will likely be developed or redeveloped by 2035 with uses that constitute centers or concentrations of employment, primarily in manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, construction, research, technology, business services, or corporate offices. And the request CUP amendment is proposing a new self-storage warehousing business on site, so that's why it's in performance. Based upon the information available at the time the staff report was prepared, we are recommending that the amendment to the CUP be approved, subject to the conditions that are listed in your staff report. This recommendation is based on the golden rules that we all abide by for all of our zoning cases. I'm not going to go through all of them. I would just skip ahead to the last one. At the time the staff report was prepared, we received one written comment in opposition to the requested amendment that is listed in your report here. And then since the report was written, I received 2 other phone calls that are in opposition to the requested amendment. They are residents of the people who live directly north of the subject site. Let's go ahead to the site photos, please. So this is an aerial map. Yep, next one. This is a zoning map, future growth concept map. And this is, as you can see, it's just a field now. It's adjacent to a bank. And with that, I will stand for questions. If not, the applicant and the agent are here to answer any questions.
All right, move to questions from the board.
For the phone conversation that you had, are you able to recall in the summation what their opposition was?
So they were concerned about, well, first off, they assumed that there was gonna be storage of boats and RVs, and that's not likely going to be the case. They were concerned about the lights shining onto the property, but there's supplementary use regulations that are in your staff report that says the lights have to be shined away from residential areas. So those were the primary concerns that they had.
Any other questions from the board? If not, we'll move to public comment, if there are any out there that have any comments, or whether the developer would like to speak. Agent, yeah, please.
Good evening, Phil Meyer with Baldwin County agent for the applicant. If I can maybe roll back to our site plans or our concept plan. So I think Christina explained most of what we're doing here very well. I guess what I want to point out to you, we do need zoning warehousing. These are what we call, these are going to be condominium. So you will be purchasing these units, use the name man caves, happens a lot, or she sheds, however you want to do that. But you'll be buying each of these units. Everything is contained indoors. So could somebody store a boat, one of them be out, and it's going to stay inside the garage, it can't sit inside. We've designed this in a way that all this doors face inwards. So to the north, where the residential people are, that will be the back of the building. We will have to do some landscaping there, just based on the landscape ordinance. Do some landscaping along 119 based on landscape ordinance. So those will happen. The very far east side is going to need to be our detention facility. With that, I would point out to the DAB members that based on the existing zoning there today, this is a much lesser intense use than a restaurant or the letter mentioned a Quick Trip, any of those. We will have less intense use and effect to the neighbors and the uses that are allowed there today. So with that, I'll be brief and stop to answer any questions you may have. I've never got it this quick at that.
You have any questions? Any questions from the public?
When you say less intense, what could you expand on that a little bit, like by comparison to?
Yeah, so traffic, you put a restaurant in there. I need to read the C, you put a drive-in restaurant, you from the drive in and out. You put a sit-down restaurant, you put a strip center that faces 119th Street. We would have a larger impact on 19th Street traffic stand.
I'd just like to make a comment. So it says in the community unit plan, I know it's hard to read in this report, but car washes are permitted by right. Like CUP already, so someone could put a car wash in there tomorrow.
All right, are there any comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll move back to the board to see if there's recommendation. I'll make a motion to approve, or is there a second?
Second.
Seeing that there's second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstained?
I don't stay here.
Imagine. Alright. Next, we'll move on to the Patrol West relocation report. Captain, you're reporting. Okay, yep.
Thank you, Christina.
Hello, like Councilman said, I'm Captain Cooley. I was out at Patrol West for almost 2 years. I am downtown now, so Captain Hunt will take over out at the Patrol West site. We take care of everything from the river to, I guess technically chunks of Goddard, really. Goddard High School is we respond to, so it's a large area. We have grown from 30 officers that this current facility was supposed to house to 120. So hence why we're looking for a new facility that can accommodate the current staff that we have. So I'll run through some of the process that we've done so far for the Patrol West relocation. So Patrol West is currently attached to a fire station. The fire station was built in the 60s. It's added on in 91 and was joined in addition in 91. Was built to house 40 officers, or 115 plus or minus some civilian staff, some crime analysts, some social workers, different stuff that we are bringing on board. Right now, we're located at Central and Elder, which is just east of Central and 235, connected to the fire station. You almost don't even know we're there. I think everyone just thinks we're a fire station there, except for all the police cars in the parking lot. So between the two of us, space is pretty limited in the parking lot. We were having a discussion earlier about fire needing to bring in a different apparatus for apartment things. We had to redo how we park in the parking lot just so they could get their equipment into the parking lot, since it's a joint facility. We share gas pumps, trash service, you name it. They were cold, and we finally found the thermostat in our women's locker room. So that just kind of shows you just briefly what is going on there. Currently the parking lot floods anytime we get a little bit of water. So I took the picture on the left. This is either a day or 2 days after some rain. Those cars we still couldn't get to without dirtying our boots or our pants. So we try and move those out of those parking areas if we know snow or rain is coming. But as you can see, it got to us before we could move those two vehicles. On the right is the entrance that the officers use. There is a small walkway in between where I was standing and where some of that equipment starts to get stored, where you can come in from outside and get into the building for squads or for paperwork or other equipment. So as you can see, we're trying to get crafty with shelves and lockers and to stack stuff, but we're out of space there with just some of that. And that's the simple equipment. That's just traffic cones and some of that stuff. So we've looked at numerous sites for Patrol West. We've looked at different parks, different commercial lots currently for sale. The site that seems to be fitting the needs the best is the northeast corner of Northwest High School. If I said that right, northeast corner of Northwest High School, right? There is about 5 acres over there that they don't have plans with. It's just north of the softball field there, the practice softball field. When we evaluated this, we evaluated the cost of properties versus their availabilities. Who owns what? How much do they want for those costs? Where are they located at? There was a current, so Patrol East is currently being built right now. We're tending to use that same blueprint for Patrol West. So that kind of gave us an idea of size of the land we need, what's the layout kind of need. That's hard to find in Northwest Wichita when you start doing a cost to availability comparison. We looked at some parks. Depending on the dollars you use for those, sometimes you gotta give more parkland. We don't have parkland to give. We don't own parkland, the police department don't, which means we'd have to buy additional land. And then we're in a circle of just buying the land to put a building on. So that's how we kind of shifted away from using park space. It's talking about centralized location. Is the response map? No, it's on. So some of the general times are on here. I have a more a better sheet that breaks it down a little bit more. But on this one, you can see the W is where we're currently at, and this is the proposed site. We looked at some other sites kind of in here. Right now, our response time from the Bureau, which keep in mind, we're not necessarily responding from the Bureau most of the time. They're out on a call or on their beat. But from the Bureau to the center of every beat using driving, not just a straight line with an aircraft, but driving to the center of every beat, we are averaging 7.3 minutes as a response time. So we had to compare that with, do we go over, do we go under, depending on where we move. The site at Northwest came out to be 7.8 minutes. So not even a minute more for response times to the center of every beat. The other site we looked at was Buffalo Park. But again, we ran into park space, taking green space and what you can do, and some FEMA regulations. That site was 9.3 minutes away. So we added a 2-minute response time for Buffalo Park. So I know it does seem like we kind of came northwest a little bit, but because of the highway and we cover Riverside, so jumping up to Windmill Road to Zoo, to test my geography here, up to Zoo over gets us to Riverside a lot faster too. And we can jump on 235 and still cover those south beats down there, down at Pawnee and Seneca, and Hoover and all those other ones. So the response time actually came out to be, in our head, 2 minutes is significant, right? 2-minute delay time is significant. So it came out to be a lot better for Northwest. You want me to talk about the tax revenue base?
Sure.
Okay, so we evaluated some tax revenue base, and we evaluated looking at purchasing something for sale for commercial real estate, or a building already up and remodeling it for commercial purpose for our purpose. If we buy commercial real estate, we're taking some of that tax revenue off the tax roll. If we purchase schools who are not on the tax roll, then we don't cut into the tax revenue base. This is a rendering of the front of the station, of what it would look like. The landscaping of it is we're still in the works for that for Patrol East, but this is kind of the conceptual. drawing. What we would like to do is take whatever our final print of Patrol East is and just duplicate it for Patrol West. I am on the build for Patrol East, so whatever we duplicate or whatever we build there is what we want to duplicate. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen. Landscaping designs. 13th already has a row of trees, most of which we don't even have to touch. So landscaping would look a little bit different than Patrol East. Patrol East has no trees, nothing out there. We'll have to plant all those. So this is, we took this to a open house mid-August. And based on some community feedback, we came up with this current rendering. Some of the feedback was the amount of traffic this may produce on Country Acres to the residential neighborhood. So the design team went back and redesigned. This is fresh, that's why it's not in the PowerPoint. So this is the new conceptual drawing of the traffic flow there on Countryside. So it eliminates the public entrance and exit on Countryside and puts it on 13th. So now all you have on Countryside is a secondary police exit. So for the neighborhood, we knocked 300 plus doors. There's almost 500. We contacted 150 residents. We mailed out to landlords and the residents that weren't home or didn't answer. We mailed out postcards, inviting them here, inviting them to email us some of their positive, negatives, concerns. Yep, there it is. We held the open house August 24th at 21st at Northwest High School. We heard a lot of great information there, a lot of good feedback. So that's how we came to this. Right now, we're still collaborating with USD 259 for the potential for the land purchase. That's not a done deal. We're still in contact with them in reference to that. And then this has not gone to council for the approval for the permits and purchase. We're still kind of in the back and forth talks with USD 259. We're still into the community engagement portion before we're even ready to go in front of council. So here's kind of the proposed timelines. Some of these are based on funds and funds availability and how they're allocated. So February of 24, we plan to select the design committee. We already kind of know what we're looking for based on Patrol East, so we're hoping that's a pretty smooth process. By June, we hope it's done. And then by August, go out to bid and contract selection. And then October, so almost a year from now, we'd like to see construction start. We are about, for Patrol East, we're about 18 months, I think. Does that still seem accurate in kind of the construction time? Not quite. So I think some of the stuff is becoming more available. Heating and air is becoming more available. So some of the challenges we thought we were going to face are moving pretty smooth out of Patrol East. Structural, the last beams are going on today, actually, tomorrow. So stand for questions from.
All right, first we'll move to questions from the board. Does anyone have any?
What do the high schoolers think about PD?
Well, the ones we've talked to, they love it. The school loves it. We're into. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. We're into some talks with some programs for Northwest. I'm very cautious to mention those, just because sometimes things don't play out. But we're into some talks for some programs we would like to combine with Northwest and the students. And
Officer Cooley, maybe you'll be able to answer, or Brian, I don't know, whether or not, I know years ago, there were talks about a northwest substation in Fort Bliss. Does moving this more central on the west side sort of eliminate that need there, or is that need still there as well in the future?
This would be it. Yep,
Yes.
yep. So we technically have 5 bureaus. We do have a central bureau right now. It's more of a traffic section. We don't disperse patrol officers out of there. That is our long-term plan. If that plan ever goes, they may take over some of the downtown area with patrol, but that hasn't evolved yet. So, which is why the response times was important when we were looking. We evaluated a site at Central and 135th, but the response times to, the core and Riverside really went up.
Do you have any other questions from the board? If not, we'll go ahead and move to public comment, and if you're gonna come up and speak, go ahead and state your name and your address, and then go from there. Any comment?
To ask a question, do we have?
Yeah, you can ask questions as well.
It says this is also
Yeah,
Facebook, so we need you to go up there.
Okay, sure. So my name is Erin Kavanaugh. My house is the light colored roof there right across from the proposed station. My question was if we could skip back up to the first slide. There was a, here I can. Would you share more what you mean by expansion potential for the minimum site area? That's my question.
I'm sorry.
Could you tell me what this means, expansion potential?
I don't think we're proposing more than the 4 point, whatever it comes out to, roughly 5. Is that your question? If over time you think we're gonna grow, is that your question?
Right, there's a lot of space there to the south of that. Obviously.
We have not had talks of years down the road adding on to taking over the softball or any of that.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, just wondering why it was, what it meant when it was on here. Expansion potential, it seems like that would be something you've considered if it's on the.
I think it's probably relative to the existing site
Uh-huh.
and its limited size, with this one being able to meet the needs of how it is expanded. I think that's probably what it in relation to, because this should meet our needs for
Okay.
years.
Yep, so we belong to, there's like a 30 by 30, I'll just give you one example, which is 30% female staff by 2030, right? That's the goal. And we belong to that goal. So we've even looked at like, how many lockers do we have? It's getting in the weeds, but how many lockers do we have if we met that goal? So and we exceeded, so an expansion would, years and years and years down the road. We've been at the other one since 91.
Okay, and then what other community engagement events would you be looking at having, other than just being invited to these meetings? Are you having other ones?
Well, we've had 3. We don't have any other ones planned in the works.
Okay.
Go to your last slide, Captain, where you talked about the condition, I'm sorry, one more, there you go. There would still be the conditional use permit application, which would have to go to MAPC for approval. That is a public meeting. And then we get into the final design, it would probably be a review of that, just so everybody knows exactly what it's gonna look like and how it's gonna lay out. This is strictly concept location right now.
It's not a square building, just for example.
Yeah.
A rectangle, I guess.
So we want to share that with the public. And then the final step the council would have to approve the purchase of the land and the final conditional use permit. So that would be another public engagement opportunity.
Thank you.
So
Thanks.
Any other comments from the public?
My name is Russell Fox. I live at 605 Northwest Link, and I've had 4 daughters attend Northwest High School. 3 of them have graduated. The last one's a senior this year. I wasn't able to attend the meeting on the 21st. I hope to be able to do so. And so I would be appreciative if you could maybe expand a little bit more on the comments that you received there. You said that that staff, maybe faculty, maybe students at Northwest seem to, in your words, love the idea. And I mean, I'd like to hear more about your impressions about that. And also, obviously, you know, the business that you're responsible for is distinct from the business that Northwest High School is responsible for. They have their own security concerns, but it's hard to believe that you couldn't have, you know, a substation right there besides Northwest where you might not see some integration. And that might lead to questions about, you know, policing capacities, maybe some expansion and maybe some pushback in regards to, you know, who's actually taking responsibility for those things. So if any of that has come up, if you could talk about that as well, I'd love to hear. So I'm hesitant to talk about the program that is in the works. Just because it's so new, but the general idea of it is I don't want to call it a trade school, but essentially we will put on a law enforcement course for the kids at the school. I think nursing has one and aviation. I think there's 2. I think those are the other 2. Maybe it's not even.
You know, there's, I'm not sure about the other one.
There's another one, and I can't remember what it is. And that is what we are looking to do since we're there on the campus. Very green in the talks of doing that. We're hoping to house it in our facility. That way they're there with us. So when I say the kids and the staff like it, that's what's drawing them in is the program. There is some of the concerns that came up from the school is housing prisoners at the facility. Those we talked with the school. We don't house. It's not a jail. We don't have a jail there. There are holding cells, but they're temporarily in there while we process maybe some evidence or through a shift change for 10-15 minutes. And then they're taken downtown to the county jail. So that's been the only concern we've had from Northwest was they thought it was a jail. Did you have another?
Well, I mean, I wanted to follow up on something that you just said now, but earlier, something else to follow up on. Obviously, you know, you're not committing to anything here. Talks have to, you know, go forward. But if it was a program that actually is on the campus, then are you going to create access from the Northwest High School campus to your facilities? Like, there's not going to be a fence here, but people are going to be able to walk there from.
So there will be a fence around the back of the property, anywhere there's police parking. The public parking is not fenced. So they would have to get to our facility somehow, which they're already doing in those other 2 programs, whether they're driving or I don't know if they take buses for them or. But that's a right turn there from their facility. Yeah.
It'd be an automobile thing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, walking to the sidewalk and coming in that.
Yeah, yeah, and if the program goes, I mean, it could always be inside Northwest. I'm just saying we're opening our doors at our facility to house it at ours too.
Pursuing to the other question that I was asking, I was thinking specifically about, you know, Northwest has officers on site. You know, how would, you know, the fact that there is already a police presence at Northwest High School like there is at other 259 schools, I mean, would there be any change in that, given that,
you'd have a facility right there. There's no reason to think there'd be any kind of integration or any kind of change.
Are you asking, like, are you talking about the school resource officers we have? Are you asking if we're gonna pull them out of Northwest High School? Is that your?
No, I'm talking about if, you have a police station right there, whether that might, affect rotations, whether that might affect the likelihood of more officers being assigned because access would be so easily handled because of proximity and so.
So we have a school officer at every high school, only the high schools in USD 259. That is a contractual agreement we have with USD 259. So we would not add additional ones if, correct me if I'm getting off on. your question.
Let me, what you just said, it
Okay.
emphasizes the point. So there's no reason to assume that this location is gonna have any implication for the contract that you currently have.
No,
If I may, Dr. Fox, I think the most benefit that Northwest would realize by having the station in this vicinity would just be the increased presence of squad cars and police officers in the area. So for the traffic coming in and out of the school and students and faculty and parents driving in the area, we're just gonna see an increased presence and might make the behavior of that driving be a little better. But inside the facility at Northwest, you're not gonna see any change. It's because mostly in the vicinity of just seeing more squad cars.
That's reasonable, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, is there any other additional public comment?
Captain, so I'm a member of the Country Acres Neighborhood Association, and so we pushed this out to our association. And we didn't have any negative feedback come through. And so I would say that I'm definitely a proponent and a champion of this communication in the Northwest area. It's just having the substation embedded into the community. To me, that's just promoting community safety. Having you guys located so close to Northwest and Benton and Kinsler, and Wilbur, having you guys that much closer to our children in terms of providing that type of additional support and protection for the schools and for the community in that aspect. I think it's just a wonderful idea, and I just love to see it continue to move forward and go through forward. These guys are driving the building.
thank you.
I'd like to just add a couple of quick comments for everyone. I'd like to thank City of Wichita staff, Public Works, to engineering, WPD, our staff, Teresa. You guys done an amazing job listening to the public, hearing the concerns, doing the engagement, coming up with the different ideas. I know at the open house that we had at Northwest, there was a lot of concern about Country Acres and that traffic. And moving this a little further west and putting the public entrance off of 13th, I think really does help a lot of that concern, especially with parking, during school release and events, keeping that traffic to a minimum on Country Acres. And I know Public Works is going to be looking at traffic along 13th. We know we've seen an increase there because of the ramp, the access to 235. So we're going to look at that and see if it does warrant anything, whether it be a light or dedicated center turn lanes. So again, thank you to everyone that's done that. Thank you to the neighborhood, Country Acres, for showing up and providing good ideas and feedback as we go through this process. It's been a long project. This patrol station's been in the works for the entire time I've been on council. So to finally see a reality happen is good. And appreciate 259 for their willingness to discuss this site. It works for a lot of reasons. We are using federal dollars, ARPA, to build this. And so we are on a tight timeline. Hopefully we can speed up this timeline to make it even quicker. And hopefully we can shave some time by using the design that Control East is and get this done even faster, because we are up against that federal timeline. One last thing is there are no fuel pumps that's going to be at this location. There are fuel pumps at the fire station shared facility now, but you're still going to use those.
Yes.
And we're not going to be putting any of this site.
Correct.
So I know that was a question that came up during the open house as well. So we've got still a few more opportunities for public to engage, but And this sounds like most feedback I'm getting, is this is a desired location. Now we just have to work out with the school district. So hey, if you guys hear anything different, please let me know. Or, but we need to get moving on this because they are elbows to elbows, the current site. So I tone that down. So thank you.
All right,
Captain.
Thank you, Captain Cooley. Our only recommended action was to provide feedback. So with that being said, that concludes everything on our agenda. So we're gonna adjourn this meeting. Our next meeting will be next month on Monday, October 2nd. We'll move back to on Monday. Thanks to Labor Day this weekend. At 6:30 back here. Y'all next.
Thank you.